Evolution has no functional mechanism that can create irreducible complexity, a critical examination. One of the most significant challenges to Darwinian theory is the concept of irreducible complexity, a term popularized by biochemist Michael Behe in his groundbreaking book Darwin's Black Box, 1996. Irreducibly complex systems are those that require all of their parts to be present and fully functional in order to operate. The removal of even one part renders the system non-functional, making the gradual, step-by-step process of Darwinian evolution unable to explain how such systems could have arisen. Here, I will explain why evolution has no functional mechanism capable of creating irreducibly complex systems. I will discuss examples from biology, such as the bacterial flagellum and the blood clotting cascade, and argue that the existence of irreducible complexity points to intelligent design rather than unguided evolutionary processes. The limitations of random mutations and natural selection highlight the inadequacy of Darwinian mechanisms in accounting for life's most intricate biological systems. 1. What is irreducible complexity? Irreducible complexity refers to a biological system composed of multiple, interdependent parts, where the removal of any one part causes the entire system to cease functioning. Such systems pose a significant problem for Darwinian evolution, which is built on the idea that complex biological features develop gradually over long periods of time through the accumulation of small, beneficial mutations. However, in irreducibly complex systems, no intermediate stages would be functional, meaning there would be no selective advantage for natural selection to preserve those stages. This concept directly challenges Darwin's theory, which requires that evolutionary changes confer an immediate benefit to the organism. If an irreducibly complex system cannot function in a partially developed state, there is no way for natural selection to preserve each step in the process. As a result, irreducible complexity points to the need for a designer who intentionally created the system as a whole, fully functioning from the start. 2. The failure of evolutionary mechanisms to explain irreducible complexity. The two primary mechanisms proposed by Darwinian evolution, random mutation and natural selection, are insufficient to account for the origin of irreducibly complex systems. These mechanisms fail to provide a plausible pathway for the stepwise development of such systems for several reasons. Random mutations. An improbable path to complexity. Random mutations are often invoked as the source of genetic variation that fuels evolutionary change. However, the likelihood of random mutations generating the precise, coordinated changes necessary to form irreducibly complex systems is astronomically low. For an irreducibly complex system to evolve, all of its essential components must arise and function together at once. Mutations are overwhelmingly neutral or deleterious, meaning they either have no effect on an organism or they damage existing functions. Beneficial mutations, which are rare, typically involve the loss of function rather than the creation of new, functional components required for complex systems. Take, for example, the bacterial flagellum, a molecular rotary motor used by certain bacteria for movement. The flagellum is composed of over 40 different protein parts, including a rotor, stator, driveshaft, and propeller. If any of these parts were missing, the flagellum would not work. The idea that all 40 parts could evolve simultaneously through random mutations, without any guidance, defies probability. Moreover, if the motor was incomplete at any intermediate stage, it would provide no functional advantage to the bacterium, and natural selection would have no reason to preserve it. Natural selection. Blind to irreducible complexity. Natural selection operates by preserving traits that provide an organism with a survival advantage. However, in the case of irreducibly complex systems, no intermediate forms would provide such an advantage because the system does not function unless all parts are present and working together. This means the natural selection cannot explain how irreducibly complex systems could evolve in a stepwise manner. For natural selection to work, each step in the evolutionary process must offer an improvement over the previous one. But in the case of irreducibly complex systems, there is no selective advantage for intermediate stages. For example, a partially formed bacterial flagellum or a blood clotting system missing key proteins would be useless and even harmful, as non-functional parts could impose a metabolic burden on the organism. Thus, natural selection would not favor the development of such systems, leaving no mechanism for their gradual evolution. 3. Examples of irreducible complexity in biology. Several biological systems have been identified as irreducibly complex, posing a direct challenge to Darwinian evolution. Two of the most famous examples are the bacterial flagellum and the blood clotting cascade. The bacterial flagellum, a molecular machine. The bacterial flagellum is often compared to a human-designed outboard motor due to its intricate, mechanical structure. It is composed of multiple proteins that work together to create a rotary motor, allowing bacteria to swim. Without any one of its essential components, such as the rotor, driveshaft, or propeller, the flagellum would not function. This makes the flagellum irreducibly complex, as all parts must be in place for the motor to work. Evolutionary biologists have attempted to explain the flagellum's origin by suggesting that it evolved from simpler systems, such as the type 3 secretion system, TTSS, which bacteria use to inject toxins into host cells. However, the TTSS is itself a highly complex system, and there is no evidence of a stepwise evolutionary pathway from the TTSS to the flagellum. Moreover, the idea that the flagellum could evolve through a process of co-option, where existing parts are repurposed for new functions, fails to account for the specificity and precision of the flagellum's design. The blood clot cascade, a delicate balance. Another powerful example of irreducible complexity is the blood clotting cascade in mammals. This system involves a series of precisely regulated enzymes and proteins that work together to form a blood clot at the site of an injury, preventing excessive bleeding. The clotting process must be tightly controlled, as failure to clot properly leads to hemorrhaging, while excessive clotting causes dangerous blockages in the bloodstream. The cascade is irreducibly complex because the removal of any one component disrupts the entire system. If one enzyme or protein is missing, the clotting process either fails or becomes uncontrollably dangerous. Evolutionary explanations for the origin of the blood clotting system struggle to explain how such a precise and interdependent system could have developed gradually, as each part of the system is necessary for its function. 4. Intelligent design. The best explanation for irreducible complexity. The failure of Darwinian mechanisms to account for irreducibly complex systems points to intelligent design as the most plausible explanation for the origin of life's complexity. The intricate, interdependent nature of irreducibly complex systems suggests that they were intentionally designed to function as complete units, rather than assembled through blind, unguided processes. Just as a watch requires a watchmaker to arrange its gears and springs into a working timepiece, irreducibly complex biological systems require a designer to arrange their components with precision and foresight. The specified complexity of these systems, where each part is necessary for the whole, points to a mind behind their creation. From a Christian perspective, this designer is God, who created life with purpose and wisdom. The Bible affirms that God is the creator of all things, as seen in Colossians chapter 1 verse 16, which says, "For by him all things were created. Things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible. All things have been created through him and for him." The irreducible complexity observed in nature reflects the intentionality and design of a creator who crafted life to function in perfect harmony. Conclusion. Evolution cannot explain irreducible complexity. In conclusion, Darwinian evolution lacks a functional mechanism capable of explaining the origin of irreducibly complex systems. Random mutations are too improbable to generate the coordinated changes required for such systems, and natural selection cannot preserve intermediate stages that offer no functional advantage. The existence of irreducibly complex systems, such as the bacterial flagellum and the blood clotting cascade, points to the work of a designer, not the result of blind, unguided processes. Intelligent design offers a far more plausible explanation for the origin of life's complexity. The presence of irreducibly complex systems reflects the wisdom and purpose of God, who designed life with precision and intentionality. As we continue to explore the complexities of the natural world, it becomes increasingly clear that life is not the product of chance but the result of divine creation. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and comment below if you agree or would like to add your thoughts. If you would like me to respond to your comment, please make a level 1 comment directly below the video. I will respond to all polite level 1 comments even if it takes me a while, due to other commitments.